everyone. This is The Writer's Block with Sarah and friends, and I'm Sarah, and these are my friends, Claire and Dinah. As you know, you noticed right away for those regular viewers at home, Trevor's missing. Unfortunately, he's not able to show his face with us tonight, but he will be in the comments. So feel better, Trevor. Hope you're doing well soon.
Feel better.
And for those that have recently been here, as you know, we've just started off last month, Black and Brown Theater Company, helping to raise funds for different theaters and different organizations related to the theater community. So this month, we have the pleasure of interviewing Ashley M. Lyle, CEO and founder of Black Literary and Art Queens Network, otherwise known as B.L.A.Q.N. She's been a professional actress for about 10 years and currently has a podcast called Black Queens on Stage. So we'll be talking about that and more, and we'll go ahead and bring her on. I think we lost Dinah. Hey, Ashley. Now, I'm saying Ashley, and then my cat is looking at me and throwing me daggers right now because we just realized my cat has the same name as our guest tonight. I'm not sure what happened with Dinah. I'm hopefully she'll be back soon. I know she's had a little bit of technical issues. So if you want, you could go ahead and just tell us about yourself, Ashley, and about what you do and what you're currently doing. Oh, wait, hold up. We can't hear you for some reason.
That's because I had my own microphone off. Sorry about that. I don't know technology. But yes, so I have been performing for approximately 10 years. I started off in community theater and then worked my way to professional theater. And the last show that I was actually about to do was at Detroit Repertory Theater. But of course, Miss Rona came in and said, no, not today. Right. So, and just to kind of edit the scrolling, it's Black Literature and Art Queens Network.
I told you, like, yes, we allow that language here. Like, oh shit. Why did it come up like that? And I said it, and gosh.
Hey, you know,
I didn't the scroll either, so that gives me an excuse to take it.
I mean, hey, it is what it is. You know, I mean, this was something that I actually got the chance to spoke to my last guest on my not last, but the most recent guest that's going to actually open up the season 2 for my podcast, Nicole Brewer, who's actually a Broadway star. She's a Broadway performer, but she has been leading the charge in anti-racism work in the theater community as a whole. So I'm so excited for that episode. I'm in the middle of finishing it right now, so all of that will be uploaded by tomorrow, and tomorrow will be the season 2 premiere of the podcast. Nice. And I'm really excited.
I listened to a few of the episodes from the first season, and I love it. It's like I want to just stay and just binge them all because.
I mean, you're more than welcome to. I mean,
like, when I first heard about it, for some reason I was thinking and automatically default to theater because, like, we've kind of met at Planet Ant actually, and I was thinking like, oh, it's just mostly like theater stories, but then I'm hearing more about like the one who was a DJ. I think her name was Problematic Black Hottie.
That was the one I listened to. Just going, scrolling like, which do I pick? That one.
that one.
And even interviewing with Tam White is like, I know Tam, but I didn't know Tam like that. So like hearing about her story and everything, it was really great to have that and hear that covered. I'm bringing Dinah back on with us. Hey,
there we go.
And,
you know, I enjoy doing it so gosh darn much, because. You know, and that was the whole point that I wanted to make sure with B.L.A.Q.N that I made it abundantly clear that it's not just theater. that it's not just about one particular artistic genre.
Right.
It's covering performance as a whole. And I want to make connections and make a network of Black women spelled with WOMX, WOMXN, to include cis and trans binary women and non-binary individuals, and to let them know that they are seen and that they need to be heard. You know, because me particularly being a theater artist, I have seen so many talented Black women perform, but like in one concentrated area.
Yeah.
You know, particularly I've seen them more at, like, say, Detroit Repertory Theater, which is like in the heart of Detroit.
Right.
You know, but I don't see them at other theaters across the state, and particularly like in the southeastern area. And that needs to change, you know? So it's like, I wanted to make sure that I made the platform B.L.A.Q.N to say, like, hey, this is what theaters need to do to, not just theaters, but Michigan performing venues. This is what y'all need to do, because I don't see anybody that looks like me on your stages. And that needs to fix now. Period.
Dinah.
Poor Dinah.
Technical difficulties at this time. So we're gonna get her as soon as she gets back in. But yeah, it's been rough. Like, I had been doing theater since like 2003, 2004. Mostly started off as like local community theater, Black theater. I think some refer to it as Chitlin Circuit Theater, where you would see just a multitude of talented people. And then I went to branch out from that, and a lot of times I would find myself being the only Black woman or Black person doing the show. And it's like, hey, can you do this part? And I grew up with the old school notion of, don't turn down a part. Take every part that you can get. You're filling your dues. And it's like, it's parts that I don't want to play. It's like, oh, this is a part, and she's sassy and quirky, but she doesn't talk, and she's a maid. It's like, oh, and then I broke away from that because it just seemed like such a common thing. And luckily, you know, I found out about improv in different forms. I don't know why I didn't find out too much about improv earlier, but yeah. But to see that it's progressed a lot, it still has a long way to go, though. But with your organization, that's really building things up and building a bridge between different communities too. Because I think for the longest I was told that it was always, here's theater people, here's the improvisers, here's stand up, here's this box, here's that box. These boxes don't cross. So it was like, okay, well, I like working on the boxes.
I like doing it all. Like, what? Well, I mean, one good example is that just recently, like, what was it? I think yesterday. Yeah. Yesterday, I actually connected a burlesque performer with a stiletto heels dancer. You know, and I think that, for one, I love stiletto heels dancers. I ain't gonna do it because I have 2 left feet, and I am not ashamed to admit that. But I love seeing stiletto heel dancers, and I love looking at burlesque performers. So why not marry the two and see what you get out of it? Because both of them are fantastic art forms, and I love seeing them both. So you might as well put them together and see what you get. You put those two together, you got a dynamite performance. So I'm glad that I was able to kind of make that connection between the two. So, you know, I hope to see something in the future out of them, or just conglomerately, you know, get a bunch of different burlesque performers and stiletto heel dancers.
Oh man, that would be great.
Seriously, yeah.
That
was one of the things that like struck me listening to the podcast, was just your propensity to connect people. Like, as soon as you start talking to someone, you're like mentally going through like, oh, you really need to talk to this person because you guys are in different genres and you're going to make something really cool together. Like you think about this thing in the same way, or you should just talk. And yeah, that I was really impressed with that.
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing is when I was first creating B.L.A.Q.N, at first it was just going to be Black, B.L.A.Q, Black Literature and Art Queens. But you know, going through as I'm trying to figure out registering the name legally, you know, for business sake and stuff, there's already something with B.L.A.Q. So I'm like, okay, well, I need to figure out something else. So then I just slapped on N, you know. At first it was going to be S, but then I was like, blacks? No, I can't. I can't do that, you know. So I thought about the letter N, and I was like, N, what would be N? Network? Okay, that's perfect. Because then that would actually mean that I'm literally building a network of performing artists where they can collab and come together and create some kind of, you know, beautiful chemistry together and make beautiful art. Because that's all it is, you know?
Yes, absolutely. I know that I think there was a thing that happened not too long ago. It was in regards to the workshop with the theater leaders. Did you, if you care, just elaborate a bit on it? And do you know if you would be able to do that with other art forms in the future?
So this is what I will say. Let me answer your first question. So what I did, and I paired up with another local actor, Dan Johnson, who I love him so much. He this entire workshop, he's just been my ride or die. He has been, I can't say enough good things about him. He's just been fantastic with helping me trying to carve out something to really take out to the masses, or the Michigan masses in the theater community. And we create first, what happened was that he wrote a document for the final day of the Black Actor Conference podcast episode that I did. And we discussed it briefly on the final episode of it. And then we decided, hey, you know what? We need to build something out of this, because for one, people are not just going to read it. They're not. It can sit on my website for as long as it can, but nobody's actually going to take that initiative and actually work through what you're proclaiming in your document. Right. So then we started working together, creating this workshop, and called it what the document is titled, Toward an Anti-Racist Michigan Theater. And there are several key point issues that are in the document where we talk about how we talk about specifically like how different theaters are trying to think in my head what theaters need to do in regards to safety precautions for their theaters, and not just like actual physical safety, like making sure things are out of the way, especially like for older theaters, but we're also talking about emotional safety as well, because for BIPOC, which is Black, Indigenous, and people of color, for BIPOC actors, we constantly come across different situations in theater that is racist, flat out. But we don't say anything. Especially, for example, Black women, we don't say anything because we don't want to be deemed hard to work with, aggressive, angry, feel like we're a threat, or anything like that. So it talks about in the document saying that if you have a BIPOC person that is telling you that something that somebody said or something that you said or did was racist, you need to hear them. Flat out. Yeah. Don't disregard what they're saying. Don't just push it to the side. Don't say, oh, I'll get to it, and then you never get to it. Right. Handle it right then and there, because shit like that is important for not only just for the safety of the artist, but for the safety of other artists. Right. You know, and for the reputation of the theater as well. You know, because if you are not handling it, that actor will never work at your theater again because
yeah.
they didn't feel safe.
And they'll tell others too.
And they'll tell others.
Mm-hmm.
They will tell others and let others know, especially other BIPOC actors saying,
Right.
oh, that theater right there, they don't look out for us.
Yeah.
They're only looking out for this. So, you know, and that was one of the main points of the document. Another main point of the document was, see, we did all of this in November, so now it's just on my head now.
That was 5 years ago in this time.
I know,
Right.
in this time period. We talked about, you know, it would probably be better if I just pull it up on my phone and I can just look at it.
And while you're doing that, I can just go ahead and put this banner up here.
Yes.
People who want to donate, you know, because there's people who want to donate to B.L.A.Q.N. Actually, I actually have something else that is a lot bigger. It's not the private chat. No, we're not showing that. So we'll do that. Let's switch this around. Ways that you can donate. It did not go the way that it's supposed to, where our faces are cut off. All right. So for those who want to donate, there's several different ways. You can go to the website, blacken.org/donate, cash app, $ B.L.A.Q.N, Venmo @B.L.A.Q.N, PayPal, blackshowmichigan@gmail.com. So many different ways. If you want to go ahead and donate, we've got them for you. Let's see here. Also, it looks like you're still searching, so I'm going to throw this up here too. Hey, guys, we're always looking for writers, you know. I'm doing a stance even though nobody can see me. The Writer's Block with Sarah and Friends. We do have season 2 call for submissions, plays, sketches, screenplays, whatever have you. It could be excerpts. Sometimes we read full acts. Sometimes we just read a 3-minute thing. If you want to, send your script to the writersblock2020@gmail.com, please.
Please send it in.
Yes, I'm not on my knees because you'll see my polka dot pajama pants, but please
bring it in.
If you want to, please submit those information. We'll give you details on how the show works, the deadline. You just need to send us your biographic information, the excerpt of the piece that you're looking for, that you want us to read, and also, what else am I missing? Oh, promo stuff. Like if you have a profile pic, oh gosh, headshot. That's how long ago I've been out of this. I was like, yeah, just send me your profile pic. It's some anime thing, you know. If you don't want your face to be seen, cool. And then we'll go ahead, advertise have you on the show, read your work, and then, you know, the audience will give feedback. We'll give some feedback. It's a good time. So don't be scared. Please donate. I mean, donate. Yes, don't be scared to donate. And don't be scared to submit some pieces for us to read for the Writer's Block.
If you're thinking about sending something in, definitely send it in. Yes, we'd love to read your work.
Okay, so I've got my information.
All right.
Shame on me for not having that already up in my noggin. But so the document was divided into 3 sections: recognition, reflection, and action. So the recognition portion of it is theater leaders and actors and everyone that works within the space of theater recognizing that they have seen, that they have contributed to racist behavior, and understanding how that has affected BIPOC individuals. Right. And then the reflection is actually examining what this racist type of behavior has done to BIPOC individuals. And then the action is how to actually remedy the situation so it doesn't happen again, or that it just doesn't happen in the first place if it never happened. So definitely one of the things in the reflection portion was play selections.
Mm.
That's a heavy hitter one. Because
Oh yeah.
we know, and especially particularly the white-owned theaters, they tend to do shows that either concentrate around the context of whiteness, or they play on what is it called, white saviorism, or they actually have in these shows where there's racist stereotypes in them, and either they have like it's like the plays are actually written to a point where it's incredibly racist. Like, for example, Thoroughly Modern Millie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's definitely something that needs to be examined and to evaluate first. Well, not first, but just one of the things that needs to be evaluated. Another thing that is another huge heavy hitter is casting practices.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have seen and I have experienced in depth that white theaters have cast white actors in roles that are for BIPOC individuals.
Yeah.
And I personally have seen that the most within community theater.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know,
or they will go to you or me, or like what we were talking about with Emilio last month. They would go up and ask, "Hey, I need a black person. I need a black woman. I need a black man." It's like, well, what type of person you looking for? What age range? Like, they don't consider that.
We come in multitudes of different characteristics. So it's
Right.
like, and then not only that, but going to different theaters like Black and Brown Theater or Plowshares or Face Off Theater in Kalamazoo. That's not their job to just hand deliver to you black people or BIPOC people. That's just not.
No.
And especially if you're not supporting them in any kind of way. You do. I will say the few times that I have went to a Black and Brown Theater production, I've only seen mainly black people or just people of color. Rarely have I seen any white audience members. Rarely. I went to a production to see a show of Plowshares. There were no white people there. Not a one. So it's like if you're trying to find black actors, but you're not trying to support the actual foundation that's bringing up these black actors, or any foundations that of any other performing art venues like burlesque or poetry or whatever, if you're not actually supporting the foundation, how do you expect to really get other black people involved in, or other BIPOC people involved in what you're doing at your performance venue? Right. You can't expect that. You just really can't. But yeah, there were tons of things that we spoke about in the workshop, and we made sure to divide it up into 3 sections: community theater, non-equity theaters, and then equity theaters, because each one, there's so much different nuance things for each section, where it's, oh, this is fancy, I like this. Let me make sure I'm in review. But there's so many different nuances for each category of theater that each needs to be addressed in an intimate fashion. So we had, I contacted over 200 different theaters and different people, and it was probably maybe about 40 different emails that registered. Yeah. I mean, I had well, one major non-equity theater just flat out said, no, we're not doing that. No.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. A couple of community theaters way out in the middle of no damn where of Michigan said, leave us alone. Leave us alone.
Leave us alone.
Leave us alone. Please stop emailing us.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh. Yikes.
And I've actually had somebody defend a theater that said no, said, oh, but they hire Black people. That's not the point.
Right.
That's not the point, because if that theater
that.
is putting their Black actors in racist stereotypical roles, that's not doing the job. That is not doing the job. Mm-hmm. And especially when that theater has when a theater color faces their actors, that's not doing the job.
Ooh, not at all.
And not just color face like with actual paint, but like through clothing color facing, through dialect color facing. You know, right. So it's going to be an uphill battle, like a very steep uphill battle. But we've already been in contact and are in continuous contact with several theaters that have come to the workshop, and that have contacted Dan and I saying, hey, we'd love your feedback on this and blah, 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 and this and that. Because one of the things that we made sure for the workshop, we gave them 2 activities to do. And the 2 activities were to create a personal anti-racist statement for yourself, and then an anti-racist policy for their theater.
Right.
And this we got this idea from Nicole Brewer, who is going to be the next guest for my podcast. Yeah. We got this idea because Dan and I attended one of her workshops, and she gave us the students in her workshop the task of creating an anti-racist ethos, where we literally give ourselves a statement that we live by for our own everyday personal lives and practicing anti-racism.
Right.
And one of the things that just rings clear for me is that equity, diversity, and inclusion is nice. You know, that does say, yes, okay, but there's plenty of holes in between equity, diversity, and inclusion that leaves room for racism to still happen. Right. So when you actually say the word anti-racism, that's clear, that's concise, that lets everyone knows that you are not here for play.
Right.
And
right.
So we made sure that when we gave them this activity, that if you're going to create this statement, if you're going to create this policy, you have to make sure of one thing entirely, that you are specific.
Right.
You have to be specific. Because that's the problem with a lot of things right now, such as equity, diversity, and inclusion. It's not specific enough.
No.
So, yeah.
So we've got quite a few comments from our audience. So I'll just go ahead and see if I can bounce in and read some of these off. We've got our regular guy here, Victor Jones. Why is B.L.A.Q.N chartered as a for-profit rather than a non-profit? There's several different questions that he has here, but that's one of the first.
Because I ain't got the money. clear as day. Clear as day. To register as a nonprofit costs a lot of money. It can cost between $250 to $500. So when I first started B.L.A.Q.N, I had no money, none whatsoever.
Yeah.
So the only way that I could really feel comfortable enough to accept money and not have the government find out about me in some kind of way, I made sure to create it as an LLC for the time being. Once I get enough money for it and I get a foundational team to be part of my board, then I will definitely make it a nonprofit.
Yeah. All right. He says, what differentiates inclusiveness from tokenism? I believe we kind of touched on that for a second.
So, inclusiveness versus tokenism is when you're being inclusive, it means that you are clearly seeing everything that person is. You're fully acknowledging who that person is, and you're making sure to include them in all of their identities, whether if they're Black, if they're disabled, if they are transgender, whatever. You're being completely inclusive of who they are as a person, regardless of their identity. Tokenism, however, it can come in various different ways. Take, for example, Sister Act. Sister Act, as cute of a musical as it is, it relies on tokenism. It really does.
Yeah.
And a lot of theaters, and I kid you not, when tokenism is not available, I've seen theaters actually fill in a white woman for Dolores Van Cartier. It has happened here at a Michigan theater. I am not bullshitting you. Yeah, seen it. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. But anyway, tokenism is when you're taking advantage of a BIPOC person or of any identifier and using it to the advantage of building up the context of whiteness or the context of ableism or the context of heteronormativity.
Right. Oh, thank you so much, Victor, for your questions.
Thank you, Victor.
Have any additional ones from any of our other audience members? Also, shout out to Trevor. We see him popped up there, and he put up your website to ask to donate. Let's see if we had anything else. I know that. Oh, Trevor's got a question. What can primarily white theaters do to help make sure they are an environment that BIPOC actors are fully included and comfortable auditioning and working?
One thing for sure is you have to change the environment of the theater. Clearly, if, for example, do you have any BIPOC staff members? Do you have any BIPOC creative team members, like designer team? Like, do you have a Black set builder? Do you have Black directors that come in and out of the theaters? I'm sorry, not Black, BIPOC. Do you have BIPOC board members? You know, board members play a significant role in a theater, especially when it comes to play selection. Some boards don't deal with play selection, but some do. Particularly in community theater. If your community theater is not actually trying to find musicals or plays that are bringing BIPOC people into a positive light instead of a negative stereotypical one, then that's a huge problem. So what theaters need to do is make sure that they have enough people on their staff and on their board, so that way there's that other voice to speak for BIPOC individuals. Because if there's no voice, they're not going to listen.
Yeah. Be pretty difficult.
And as long as when that voice is available and it's actually being heard, it makes room for BIPOC actors to be a part of theaters. You know, because now they're actually making room, in a sense, for BIPOC actors to actually be a part of their shows, when you have board members and other staff members saying like, oh no, don't do that. We shouldn't do that show because that's not culturally sound. You know, so you have to make sure that your board, staff, and actors are comfortable. Because if we're not comfortable, we're not coming.
Right.
Point blank.
If you're not coming, there ain't gonna be no dollars coming.
We're not coming. If I'm working at a theater where I constantly feel like, you know, I'm being asked all these different stupid ass questions about being Black or this and that, or racist jokes coming in and out, you know, I'm not gonna come back.
No.
At all. You know, and what really sucks is that, just like what you were saying, Sarah, that where you get to a point, especially like when you first start out, when you don't want to turn anything down, you don't want to seem like you're hard to work with,
Right.
so you just accept
But
it.
then it messes you up as an artist. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
this isn't the work that I sought out to do. And that's how people leave theaters. They do their own theater companies, or,
Yeah.
you know, become their own writers, directors, producers, because they don't want to deal with white theaters because,
Right.
you know, their
And
experiences or
and I
experiences
respect
from
that.
others.
Right. I respect that wholeheartedly, because it's important. We need it. We need our own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We need it.
We do.
we need our own stuff, because while it's great to have white-owned theaters where they're definitely bulldozing through and they're going to make the change, and then you have some white theaters that are like passively like, oh, okay, I guess we could do this, and then you have some white theaters that are just out flat right out saying, no, we're not doing that. No.
Leave me alone.
Right. Leave me alone.
Leave me
You're
alone.
attacking me.
Stop bothering us.
So it's great to have, because I almost got thrown off. It's great to have those that are bulldozing through your well-intentioned white theaters, and then some that are just ignorantly just say no. So we have to have our own stuff. We have to, you know. But it has been shown throughout time that the Black dollar, the BIPOC dollar, is extremely valuable. Extremely valuable. We have seen countless of things like the Black Miss America, baseball, the Negro League, countless of other things, where we have seen that the dollar, to see these performances, to see these shows, have been extremely valuable. So when we create our own stuff, now it's valuable. But when we tried to get into, you know, like white-owned specific things, we're not valuable enough to be in it.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. What else? Oh, yeah. The question about.
Did I answer Trevor's question? I feel like I went on a tangent.
Yeah. I was going to ask about volunteerism, because I know that there was you had different branches and different opportunities to volunteer and work with B.L.A.Q.N before the pandemic. Is there anything that's going on where people can get involved right now?
Well, I am definitely looking to build a team. On top of managing B.L.A.Q.N, I'm also a web designer, and I also have a part-time job. So it's like stack on stack on stack.
Oh, yeah.
So I need help. I truly do need help. I need people that are extremely passionate about this kind of work, because this work is daunting. It's tiresome. And you got to have that passion, that 100% passion, to definitely be a part of it. And with you, Dinah, and you, Sarah, you guys were you know, part of the team as well. But you know, y'all got your own stuff, you know. So I mean, it's understandable if you have your own stuff, and you know, I'm not going to hold you back. I'm not going to say, no, you're a part of this team, you have to be a part of it. No, I'm not going to do that. But your girl got her own stuff to take care of.
Oh, yeah.
But I do need a team. So far, I have Dan Johnson. He's just been so great. But I definitely need help with my social media. Definitely. I need help with creating different small events, virtual, of course, because we don't have time for face-to-face stuff. Yeah, I definitely need a team to really help me out, pound some things out for the rest of the year, and just from now on, you know. So if anybody is, same thing about money. I don't have money. I don't have enough money, I should say. So if you're willing to volunteer your time to actually help me out and to actually help me build B.L.A.Q.N, I would so greatly appreciate it. you can contact me at the same email address that is for the PayPal, blackshowmichigan@gmail.com, BLAQ or at gmail.com. And if you want to, reach out to me and say, hey, I would love to be able to help you out and get things really up off the ground, I would greatly appreciate it. So I'm accepting volunteers all the time. All the time.
And once again, for those that want to see that, I'm going to botch this. I always do. Tabs, Chrome tabs, window. Here we go. I think people can see. I think people can see everything. All right. So for those, again, want to donate, you get the links, the Cash App, the Venmo, and the PayPal. And that is the same email address,
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes, absolutely.
So everybody could take it in, and we'll also be posting it as well in our chats and whatnot throughout. Here, the cat is back again.
Uh-oh. Did you keep hearing me say Ashley?
I think so. Yeah. She's like crying.
Cute.
We got you now, Dinah. I know you've been having some technical difficulties today too. It's just been a bit rough.
So there was another question that you posted in here, Sarah.
I have
in our private chat. Would it be racist?
I've been technically difficult tonight.
Having some technicals. Oh well, I was just gonna go on to the questions that are in our main chat for the audience members. Trevor had one that said, "Any plans for shows that you want to do after the pandemic?"
Nothing that I can think of at this time. At least nothing without a good amount of money.
What do you think of the work that your donations can do?
Well, I mean, definitely.
But for real,
and that's why with this workshop, I want to make sure that this workshop definitely reaches the people that are the heads of the theaters, because when it all comes down to it, they are the last decision makers. I actually had a community a couple of board members from a community theater, and this was the one thing that I wanted to make sure when I created the workshop was that the artistic director, executive director, or board president, whoever, they must be coming to this workshop. They can bring other people, part of their staff or their board, that's fine, but they cannot come in place of you, because that's counterintuitive. Right. Because for one, you as the main decision maker, you're not going to listen to the people that just came from this anti-racist workshop, because you're just gonna, oh, that's nothing. No, you as the main decision maker, you have to have that strong point to say, you know what, we've been fucking up and we need to fix things. So I really want to make sure that the work that Dan and I are doing is getting across to these white theaters and letting them know that you need to fix things, because this is not helpful to the theater community as a whole.
Right. I think that's what I meant to ask, to elaborate. Are these going to be workshops that will be happening with other arts communities? Like, if it was, I'm not even aware, because I haven't gotten to that podcast episode yet, if there's like an issue with, say, burlesque community and race, or if there was something in regards to the DJ community and race. Like, are there going to be workshops that would be involved with those communities as well?
Well, I am actually working with a close-knit group of burlesque performers right now in regards to that situation. I can't really reveal too much information about it,
Right.
But I am working with a group of burlesque performers, and hopefully we'll finalize something and have something up for February.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So once I get that finalized, then I'll start promoting that as much as possible. But I do also plan to, for this same workshop toward an anti-racist Michigan theater, Dan and I, we are also in the works of creating it where it will be available for all theater performers, theater leaders, design teams, everybody that's part of the theater community. We're making this same workshop. It will be available. The date is still to be determined, but we have to, reformulate some of the workshops so that way it's speaking to everyone inclusively.
Mhm.
There was a question in the private chat that you put in here, Sarah. I don't know whose question it was.
We were going to avoid that one.
Oh, okay.
That's just private chat stuff. If y'all want the access to the full kind of Patreon. Yeah, because but yeah, we'll just go ahead and move on along.
That's an interesting question.
Yeah, that's why I was I feel like
we don't have to speak about that question.
Okay, but if you want to
say the question entirely, but I can talk around it.
Yeah, feel free.
Yeah. So when you have a play where race is not germane to the play itself, where it's not specific to the play, then you should be as a theater or as a theater leader, you should be thinking outside of the box to cast it where it's inclusive for everyone. However, when you have a play or a musical or whatever, where it is specific in regards to race, you need to abide by that. For example, Hairspray, they just made theirs specific in the casting information, where you have to have a group of Black people and you have to have a group of white people for the show. You can't do blonde, brunette, redheads like what I've seen some theaters do to create that differencing. No, that's not. No. But for example, and I constantly go to this example because there's plenty of other examples, but this is one that I personally like. And I've seen Wayne State do it this way when they did this show. There was another theater that did it this way too, where it was Next to Normal, the musical Next to Normal, where they had a multiracial cast, and but they're a family. That's the point. They are a family. It doesn't matter what race they are. If they are portraying a family, they are a family. They don't all have to be the same race.
Right.
I personally would love to see an all Black cast of Next to Normal, just because it adds that extra layer for the Black community, because within the Black community, therapy or any type of mental illness is faux pas. It's a faux pas within the Black community. We're just told from our elders, just pray about it, baby, you'll be all right. So that's just on me. I would personally love to see an all Black cast, but I loved when I went to see Wayne State's production of it. I loved seeing it. Yeah. So when it's not specific to the play itself, you should be thinking outside of the box as much as possible. Right. Like what you as a theater leader, who are the people that are the first thing that come to your mind when you're casting a show?
Right.
And you need to evaluate that, because if all you're seeing is white people, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I think that was a good explanation for
That
that
was a
question.
good way to handle it. Yeah, 'cause I was like,
Yeah.
I think Dinah's back with us. I'm gonna see if we can add her back.
Poor Dinah.
I know it's like this has been
Poor
remote.
Dinah.
We've had some difficulty. It was working fine, and I don't know. I know like around 7, 8 o'clock, internet's connectivity overall just gets kind of wacky.
Yeah.
I know we have a weird period at work too, where it's between like noon to 3:30, and then it gets really slow and slammed, and then again at night. So it's like, but I'm glad to have you now, Dinah.
Oh, poor Dinah. Are you still here with us, Dinah? Can she hear us?
I think so. Can you hear us, Dinah?
Dinah, can you hear us?
I don't know. I just gave up a little bit ago.
Oh.
I'm trying.
Poor Dinah.
Well, while we have you, do you have any questions or comments for Ashley?
I don't think she can hear us.
I know I said Ashley again, and then the cat came. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to give her little treats when we're done, because she is like,
oh Lord.
Oh, poor Dinah. Anything else you guys have you wanted to talk to me about, or
that
anything else in the chats?
The document you were talking about a little earlier, sort of spelling out what theaters should be doing, is that like an internal document? Is that something we could read somewhere?
Yeah, absolutely. It's available on the B.L.A.K.N website. If you go to B.L.A.K.N and then go to Our Voices, it'll be right there front and center, and it's called Toward an Anti-Racist Michigan Theater, and it was written by Dan Johnson. So yeah, it's available on the website, and it's also available for download as well. The other thing that we included was a short survey that we collected of BIPOC theater actors. We have a complete survey, and the survey results available on the website as well. So that way you can see, according to those questions, the answers from the different pie charts that we gathered all that different information from. And it's some staggering information. Like it will really make people think like, ooh, damn, you know. So yeah, I definitely encourage your viewers to go to B.L.A.K.N.org and to go to Our Voices. Please read the Toward an Anti-Racist Michigan Theater document. It's a very thorough document listing out the reflection, the recognition, reflection, and action of what theaters need to do, because it's imperative.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
We've got
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, it sounds like the next season of the podcast drops tomorrow, which is called Black Queens on Stage.
Yes.
And yeah, if you like wide-ranging conversations with people who specialize in stuff that you may not know, you may know about. I, for me, was like, I'm learning so much. Check it out.
Yeah. Just to talk about it again, my season 2 premiere, which will be tomorrow, is with Broadway actor Nicole Brewer. She has created her own anti-racist theater course and also conscientious theater training. It was such a privilege talking to her. She was just this whole thing full of knowledge, and I'm just like, so I was really excited to talk to her. But the BQS podcast drops an episode every 2 weeks. So it's 2 episodes a month. But yeah, so I'm excited for this next season.
Yeah, can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
And I encourage everybody to go check it out. You can go to the B.L.A.Q.N, the website for the podcast is blackqueensonstage.com. Or you can go to the Podbean page, which is blackqueensonstage.podbean.com.
Yes. I think I also saw it on some of them on YouTube as well.
Yes. So I have uploaded the episodes. I've created audiograms for the episodes as well. So I don't have the full YouTube URL, but if you go to blackqueensonstage.com, there will be a link to the YouTube page. You can just click that, and you can listen to it from YouTube as well. But Black Queens on Stage is available everywhere where you can listen to podcasts. I'm literally everywhere. No excuses.
Great. Trevor sends his thanks. He said thank you so much for coming on board with us, and thank you as well from all of us. I don't know if we have any other questions or concerns or final statements or anything. I know we're almost at the hour point.
Yeah. I appreciate you guys bringing me on to your show. Thank you, Sarah, Diana, Claire. I appreciate you guys having me on here. I really, really do. I appreciate Dan Johnson. I can't say that enough. And two other women that have actually been really helpful in this growth is Sarah Rusk and Krista Eubank of Open Book Theater. They've really been helping Dan and I out a lot. And definitely a shout out to Sharday Davis. You know, she keeps me straight. She really does. She's like, okay, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? You know, so yeah. Thank you guys so much for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome back anytime.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So I guess we'll go ahead and let you go do your own thing for a minute.
One more reminder. If you're out there and you'd like to support the work that Ashley's doing, help her get all of this off the ground, because as you can hear, it's very important and needed and impactful. This is how you can donate, and she will make your money go far.
Right there. It's still not showing the way.
It did it right the last time.
It did. Although I did share a screen. Maybe I just need to go back to that. Hold on. Share that screen. Show that tab. Share that screen. Come on. I have this smooth. One day I'm going to do it.
You'll get it right. You'll get it right.
One day. But yes, there's many ways that you can donate. Feel free to go on the page, check out the website, check out the podcast, everything. It's amazing. It's definitely worth your time. So with that said, thank you again for coming on our show. If you have any, why did it get big all of a sudden? Oh God. For those who want to write and contribute to bringing something, it's still not showing. What? Because I have it on that tab. That's why. Okay, so I'm just gonna throw this over our faces real quick. Those who want to go for season 2 submissions, play sketches, screenplays. You can go right there. Oh, I gotta go the other way. There it is. Oh gosh, this mirroring effect is killing me.
Yeah.
Send your script to the writersblock2020@gmail.com. We'll have you on board and read your pieces. Or if you are a part of a theater and you want to not be solicited by me, you can definitely go ahead. Same email address, the writersblock2020@gmail.com. We'll talk. and get you on the show and hopefully raise some funds for you. All right. Well, thank you again for having us. Thanks again for watching The Writer's Block with Sarah and friends, and we'll see you next month. Next month we will have on, I'm so happy to have her on too, talent extraordinaire Kaniki Jones will be with us next month, and we'll talk about so much. All right. Well, take care. Be safe. Wear your mask. All
6
that good
feet.
stuff.
Be smart.
6 feet apart. Love each other from 6 feet apart. All right.
Be smart.
Take care. See you next month. Oh yeah, it's gonna be Valentine's Day too. So yeah.
Ooh. They already saying there's too many babies being born right now.
We can stop there for like an hour or so. A little